works hard on their craft, whatever that is. I mean, being an athlete, any athletes on this live knows that it takes a lot of work, and it's not easy to go to the gym every day, to be consistent. You got to deal with injuries. You got to deal with performance anxiety. It's a lot of things that you got to deal with, and to get to a point where, you know, you're winning and you win, and then to have your win shaded by somebody who's less talented or doesn't work as hard, or maybe they do work as hard, but they just don't got it. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't got it, you don't got it. And that's my opinion about it. Like, I think we need to kill.
This broadcast is brought to you by Bold People Get Rich. For more investing knowledge, be sure to visit www.bpgrinc.com.
So now that we got that out the way, like I said, I always recommend for people to trade on their demo account. If you want to take these trades, use demo. If you decide to trade with live money, do it at your own risk and make sure you use proper risk management. All right, so the first thing we're going to go over.
This broadcast is brought to you by Bold People Get Rich. For more investing knowledge, be sure to visit www.bpgrinc.com.
We had our drop, we had another pullback, and now we had another drop that broke structure on the downside. So now what we're paying attention to are these lows over here to the left. Now we're targeting these lows, so we're looking for sales at this point.
This broadcast is brought to you by Bold People Get Rich. For more investing knowledge, be sure to visit www.bpgrinc.com.
Institutions have gotten involved, but keep in mind that Bitcoin is a decentralized asset. Decentralized meaning no one controls it, but the people, miners, and people participating in it. Now, if the government wants to shut that down, they can at any time. Let's be real. Let's be honest. I know there's some people out there who are all for decentralization of currency, so they can't control, our money, and they can't find out and track us, and that's not going to be the case. The reality is, we are under the rule of the powers that be, and they're controlling everything. All right, so if you are going to play the money game,
This broadcast is brought to you by Bold People Get Rich. For more investing knowledge, be sure to visit www.bpgrinc.com.
Welcome to Markup Mondays, where every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we analyze the financial markets, educate the community on trading and investing, discuss world news and popular topics. I'm your host, Delonte Brady, Chief Analyst and six-figure earner with Bold People Get Rich, and here are some things you need to know about this broadcast. During the market analysis portion of this call, we often find areas in the market to trade or make our investments. To be updated on these entries, exits, and trade management, make sure you tap the three dots on my Facebook page and change following to favorites. This way, you'll never miss an update. To receive investment knowledge, exclusive deals, and updates, click the link tree in my bio and subscribe to our mailing list. If you're viewing this broadcast on YouTube, to be kept up to date, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. This is an event made for the people, by the people, and we love to hear your feedback and answer your questions during the show. So please feel free to comment as often as you like. Lastly, all forms of investing do involve risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Increasing leverage increases risk. Before deciding to trade in any financial market, you should carefully consider your financial objectives, level of experience, and risk appetite. Any opinion, news, research, analysis, price valuation, or other information contained in this video does not constitute investment advice. No person or persons in this video is a financial advisor. Welcome to Markup Mondays. We are back. Welcome to Markup Mondays, where we analyze the financial markets, go over world news, and educate the community on trading and investing, and we discuss the topic of the day. As you all know, we were over in Africa. Myself and Rachel were over in Africa for about 2 weeks, still adjusting to the time over here. Our bodies are still running on Africa time. Like, I believe Rachel is asleep right now. We've been falling asleep around 6:30, 7 o'clock. And no matter how hard we try to stay up, we just end up going to sleep at that time. And then we end up waking up at 1 in the morning, 3 in the morning. And the sleep schedule is just, it's crazy. It's all over the place, but still trying to adjust, still trying to get back into the groove of things, but definitely happy to be back on Markup Mondays. If you're tuning in, thank you for your patience. Go ahead and drop where you calling in from. Today is going to be a quick call. Like I said, we're just now getting back into the groove of things. So I don't have anything set up for the topic of the day. Next week, we do plan on going over our experience in Africa and going into more detail, answering you guys' questions. But for this week, this is kind of like a warm up. We're just going to review what happened, not last week, but 3 weeks ago. The last time we did Markup Mondays on November 1st. So we'll go over, we'll review that. And then I'll get into what I see for the upcoming week on EU. We'll analyze any pairs that you guys throw out there. And then I'll go over the topic of the day. Los Angeles in the building. Welcome, Dean. Welcome, Portland. What's going on, Akron? All right, so let's get into what happened not last week, but November 1st. So the last time we had Markup Mondays, it was on November 1st, Monday, November 1st, and I called out a buy area, and here's the result of that. We finally came up to the area we've been talking about for about 3 or 4 weeks now, and we've sold off. Now, we do have a buy area down here that I would like to wait for it to come from, and ideally during NFP week, that is where I would like to see it come down to get in for a buy. Hopefully that happens before Wednesday or early Thursday morning, because like I said, I'm not seeing anything on the lower time frames as far as a good place to get in. All right, so that is the result of not last week, but a couple of weeks ago when I called out that buy. We actually I didn't take that because that buy happened, or not the buy, but the entry supposedly happened on my birthday. So I wasn't trading. I didn't take the trade, but that was a call that I called out publicly. So that is officially the first loss of Markup Monday. So we are 10-1. And Larry said, yeah. So that's the first official loss for Markup Mondays. We are 10-1. That's great. 90%. That's still, excellent, especially in the foreign exchange market. So actually what's going to be going on too. So professional traders, investors, they usually stop investing around this time, right? December. So I learned my first year, I traded all through my first year, traded all through December. Last year, I took a break in December. Like I took half of December off. And this year, I'm going to take December off completely. Reason being, I've been trading all year. When you trade and you trade 5 days a week, all year, getting up, early in the morning, is good to take a break from the charts to, not be trading because it gets you ready, it recharges you and gets you ready for the following year. Another reason is because at the end of the year, and this is like for you to be taking notes, anybody that's, trying to learn how to trade, if you're in the process of learning how to trade, this is something that you need to know and something that you should practice. So at the end of the year, investors are closing out, institutions and investors. This is for the stock market, foreign exchange market. All these institutions are closing out their orders, right? Because they hedge all year, and a lot of people are closing out their orders, taking profits, taking losses, getting ready for tax season. And so with that, the market moves kind of like, not in a normal way. It doesn't move like it normally does. And because our advantage is going off of the past, off of what's happened in the past, and following patterns, when these patterns don't present themselves like they normally do, then that makes it less probable. That makes the market less predictable. And when the market is less predictable, you're more likely to lose. So just take the month of December off. That doesn't mean we aren't going to be having Markup Mondays. We're still going to be having Markup Mondays. I'm still going to be marking up charts, but I will not be in the markets. I will not be trading. Okay. Actually, for the whole month of December, um, not during Christmas. It depends on what day Christmas falls on, but I'm actually going to be featuring my students. Some of my advanced students, I want to have them come on, and I'm going to have them analyze the markets and show you guys what they can do from what they've learned. But let's go ahead and get into it. First thing we want to check out, we always want to see what the news is for the week, right? We want to have a heads up on any volatility that we could run into in the upcoming week. So boom. And let me add this to the stream. There we go. All right. So coming up for EU and the United States dollar. On Tuesday, we actually got a lot of news releasing for EU on Tuesday. Unemployment rates, as I always say, anytime we see anything about unemployment, we got that red folder right there. That's going to bring some volatility to the market, and that's going to be at 2 o'clock in the morning. So, any moves you guys are expecting or anything that you're looking at as far as the euro, be expecting some movement around 2 in the morning, some volatility. Also, 3 in the morning, we got 4 red folders: retail sales, unemployment rates. Then we have some yellow folders or medium folders. Then at 5 o'clock in the morning, we have another red folder. So between 2 and 5 in the morning, it's going to be a lot of movement for any pairs connected to the euro. All right, and then at 10 in the morning, we have Chairman Powell speaking. Anytime he speaks, that normally provides volatility to the market, but there is no telling. It's no telling. But be on the lookout this morning on euro. Wednesday, another heavy day for news. So Wednesday at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. Right, and then at 9 in the morning. So again, tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning, early 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, in between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. It's going to be a lot of volatility on all pairs that are connected to the euro. And then after that, in between 8 in the morning and 10 in the morning, we're going to have some more red folders for the United States dollar. right? Thursday, see, we got red folders between 3 and 8:30. Not as bad as Tuesday and Wednesday, but jobless claims at 8:30. Unemployment change at 3 o'clock in the morning. So another busy week, another volatile week for the United States dollar and the euro. And then on Friday, we have more red folders for euro, 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:45. Then, sheesh. So Friday is going to be another heavy news day during the London session. In between 2 in the morning and 5 in the morning, expect a lot of volatility. And then at 8:30, we got non-farm payroll. So it is NFP week. Wow, that was quick. We just did NFP week. Like the last Markup Mondays that was recorded was during NFP. So it's been that long. We are actually in NFP week right now, the next NFP. So this is non-farm payroll week. Friday is going to be super volatile because of NFP at 8:30. So be mindful of that and just be mindful of price action pretty much all week. All right, now let's get into EU. Somebody put UJ. We will look at the United States dollar versus the Japan yen. Larry said with the first Wednesday, the first being Wednesday is, yep, this is NFP week. Yep, it is NFP week. All right, give me a quick second. I got to share my screen again. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this call that we called out. So the suspected buy area was here, and they brought the market down, and they actually blew through the buy zone, treated it as a sell zone, and sold off a little further down to another buy area. But like I said, I wasn't even able to take this trade because it happened on my birthday, and I wasn't trading, so I didn't take that. But there, we are down on EU. We are down in a suspected buy zone. Like this is a suspected buy area where it should be turning around. But we have to keep in mind always what's going on the higher time frame currently. And even though this could be looked at as a pullback, let me show you guys what I mean. So we have our low, take it all the way up to the high. This could be looked at as the pullback. If this was the pullback, this is about a 70% retracement. All right. But the way it's looking like it's going to continue down on the lower time frame. And I'll show you why. All right. So first piece of evidence of why it may continue down are the equal lows that we've created once we came down here. Color is black. All right, so we created equal lows, and we know when equal lows get created, equal highs, that creates liquidity, and those become targets for the market. So this is our first piece of evidence right here of why we could come back down, before we continue back up, or if we even continue back up. Second thing, we still have some imbalance that needs to be filled. This is a lot of imbalance that was created back on May of 2020. All right, so we still got a lot of imbalance that got left behind that we can look at as targets. And another possible buy area. I'm just highlighting this. I'm not calling this buy area, just highlighting it. All right, so those are the two pieces of evidence that I have on the downside. There's an imbalance, and then we have some equal lows. Now, our next piece of evidence, or reason for believing this is going to continue to sell, is because of what's been going on. I mean, it's been selling. EU has been creating lower lows and lower highs. All right, and it's been distributed. And so what's happening right now, what I believe is happening right now is it's turning around, and where I would like to sell from is right up here in this area where the last sale happened. We had this major sale that we caught here, and then we just dropped the market down. All right, so the last area where I believe the institutions did some dealing. Hold on, can't see the chart. Oh man, I apologize. I apologize, y'all. I didn't have my chart up. All right, so let's go over this again. So now y'all probably see everything that I was talking about. So here we have the equal lows down at the bottom, and then we have the imbalance. So that's the evidence on the downside. And like I said, I just highlighted this area where we could possibly buy from. Yeah, I apologize, y'all. Are we good? Can everybody see my screen now? Okay. And so we've been downtrending or distributing. We've been creating lower lows and lower highs, right? And the last area was the sell that we caught, which was here. And so this is the area that I'm looking at that I believe the institutions did their last dealing, right? Because the institutions have to sell to buy to sell. And this was the last area where they made a major move, and we have yet to revisit this area. On top of that, we have a lot of imbalance that needs to be filled. We have imbalance here. We also have imbalance here. All right, so we have imbalance on the upside. We have the market starting to turn around. And so let's drop down to a lower time frame. Let's look at what we're looking at. So the last major high is technically right here. All right, so we're downtrending. All right, we got our high, we got our lower low. High, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. And we created a lower low right here and then a pullback, but we just gonna take this all the way down here. Lower low, lower high, and then from there, we created our last lower low. Maybe it's not the last lower low. Maybe we go lower than that. But it is looking at market structure in this way that we decide what we're going to do next. So we've created this lower low. We've created a lower high. And we've created a higher low. Now we haven't come above this high right here. All right. We could come above this high and decide to buy. But looking at the higher time frame, this is the high that I want to see cleared. All right, so once we get above this level here, this is when I can start looking for buys. Once I start looking for buys at this point, where do I want to buy to? Because I still believe it's selling. I'm going to buy up to the suspected sell area, which is here, this red zone. So the distance between the potential, that's a range of about 100 pips. All right, so probably can catch about 30 to 60 pips out of a buy opportunity that presents itself if we end up clearing this high right here. All right. Now, once we head up, this is going to be the sell area. I'm expecting EU to continue selling off because remember, even though we're probably going to go temporarily bullish, I'm expecting EU to continue down even further. All right, so that's it with EU. Like I said, I'm done trading. It's November. It's November 29th. It'll be December this week. So this is just something I'm calling out as far as like what I see, just analyzing, but I won't be taking any trades. If you are trading, my recommendation, if you're going to trade EU, if you want to buy, wait for it to clear this high right here and look for some type of structure to form. If you want to sell, you either want to wait for it to come up to this area in between price level of 1.15250 and 1.15500, or you want to see it break below this low here. All right, if we get a break below this low here, start to drop down in this area, then you just look for structure and get in for the sell. Take the sell, because more than likely it's going to continue distributing if it comes back down to this low. Right, brother. Sid said, this is Sid, my brother, not just somebody. My bad. Did I disregard you, man? So Sid, let's go ahead and go over the United States dollar versus the Japan yen. All right. All right. So pretty much the same thing that we talked about um, this Saturday on the Sniper Trade Training and Mentorship call. We actually did end up coming up to that sell area that we call, and it sold off for 90 pips before it turned back around. And that was plenty of time. I mean, on UJ moves very similar to EU. So the sweet spot, in my opinion, for UJ is 30 pips. And it definitely gave 30 pips. It gave well over 30 pips. And so now we've come back up to that area. You know what? But before we get into UJ, let's pause right there and let's look at the dollar. Let's look at what's going on with the dollar. So something happened during the open on Sunday, and we created this gap here. All right, so the dollar has a gap. And what's significant about this gap, I mean, the dollar gaps all the time, but what's significant about this gap is the consolidation we're creating around the gap or above the gap. And color is. All right, so we have a gap. We're creating consolidation around the gap or liquidity. And we had a strong move up, got a strong wick right here. All right, so we had a strong move up. We have a gap. We have consolidation above the gap. And we know gaps usually get filled and then the market goes the other way. And what's going on with the dollar, why I believe EU is still going to continue down, is because the dollar has been really, really bullish. All right, so we've extended up. We extended almost about 300% from the last pullback. And we retraced almost 38%. All right, so a very shallow retracement. I believe the dollar came down into a buy area and now it's rejecting. And the way that is looking like it's going to continue up, which is why I'm expecting EU to continue down. All right, so because I'm expecting bullishness out of the dollar, and we know with UJ, the first quote in the pair is the dollar, so that's going to determine the direction of the trend. So just like the dollar, I believe UJ is headed up. And like on Saturday, we discussed the equal highs that have been created. And we know above equal highs and equal lows, there's liquidity, which makes targets. And so it looks like UJ has done a pullback. We came down into the buy area. Still paying attention to this low. It is NFP week. Anything is possible. We could come down to this buy area, but whether we're buying from this point or buying from this point, I'm bullish on UJ. And those are the two chances I would take. Of course, I would be waiting since we're in the sell zone right now. We sold off, but we've come back up to it, and we could, end up really selling off from it. But that's what I would wait on, Sid. I would wait on the buy, either for it to drop lower to this buy area, or I want to see it break above this mitigation zone that we have here. If we get a break above this mitigation zone, which is in the same area as this major high right here that I have highlighted. We get a break above here. Now I'm looking for a retest, and I'm looking to carry that up beyond this high right here. Right, so that is it for UJ. Also looking like a Head and Shoulders forming too. Yeah, that was another thing I wanted to point out on EU. Is the reason why, another reason or another piece of evidence of why I believe EU is going to continue down. Is because we have an inverted head and shoulders within a downtrend, right? And I don't trust head and shoulders. I don't trust bullish head and shoulders in bearish, order flow. Right? You got your left shoulder, you got your head, and then you possibly got your right shoulder forming. And so more than likely what's going to happen is it's going to look bullish. Retail trading. And then we're going to come down even further, which is exactly what we did previously in the trend. Same thing happened. Same thing happened up here. Head and shoulders pattern formed, bullish move, took it out. All right, now let's get into the trading and investing gem of the day. Like I said, this is going to be a quick call, and what I want to teach you all today is how to back test. All right, back testing is a very useful tool. It's very important to developing strategies and testing strategies and really just getting better at trading without having to practice in the live market. It's something that you can do on the weekends when the markets aren't moving. But the way back testing works, you do have to have a paid account with TradingView, which I believe the base plan that they have is about $14 a month, and is well worth the investment if you're seriously thinking about trading or if you trade seriously. Turn this watermark down. But let me show you guys how to back test. So the reason for back testing, before I get into what back testing is, the reason for back testing is to show or to prove that a strategy will work for you on whatever particular pair that you're trading, because all different pairs move differently. And so when you learn a strategy, you want to put that strategy to the test. And unless you trade in the live market, The only way to really test a strategy is to back test. All right. And that is to be able to either rewind the screen or just go back and, look at the scenarios that the strategy calls for and see if it works. All right. So what I'm going to do, there's a replay button on TradingView. All right, I'm on the 4 hour right now, and let's just go back to May 31st of 2021. I'm gonna hit this replay button, and you see this blue line. I'm gonna go to May 31st. I'm gonna click it, and boom, it deletes everything up to May 31st. All right, now let's say I just hopped on YouTube. I'm looking at this trading guru, and he's teaching me the break and retest strategy. Right. It's going to make me a lot of money. It's going to make me a millionaire. I want to check this strategy out and, make sure that it works. All right. So I highlight my consolidation. And what this trading guru taught me is that if I get a break to the top, then I want to buy the retest. Or if I get a break to the bottom, then I want to sell the retest. So let's drop down to a lower time frame. And what I'm gonna do, there's a little tab where I can hit play and I can adjust the speed. And I'm gonna let this play out. And it looks like we're breaking out to the top. All right, we got to break out to the top. That quick, got me a trade set up. All right, so got to break out to the top. I want to test this strategy out. I'm entering right here, and I'm going to put my stop loss. Let's see. From here, I'm going to just do a 50 pip stop loss. All right, so I got my 50 pip stop loss right here. And of course, I want to go for just as much or double or more of what my stop loss is. So if I have a 50 pip stop loss, automatically I want to have a 50 pip take profit. All right, so if I'm entering here, then on the upside, I will want my first take profit to be here. All right, so let's go ahead and label that TP1. And what I'm actually showing you right now too is how to create a trade setup. This is a trade setup that I'm giving you right now, or that I'm showing you. And this is how you do it. Entry. Make this black. Dotted line. All right, so there's my entry. There's my stop loss. There's my first take profit. And I want my second take profit. I want my second take profit to be 100 pips. TP2. All right, so that's it. I got my trade set up. I got in for the buy. I'm currently up. See, I got in. Let's say if I got in for the buy on the retest, I'm currently up 10 pips right now. I'm 10 pips in profit. All right, we entered right here. And let's go ahead and let this play out. See if this break and retest strategy works. Not looking good. It's not looking good. All right, so I got stopped out. So on my first attempt of the break and retest strategy, it was a failure. I lost that trade. All right, so I would wait for another setup, or I would let it play out, and I would look for that same scenario, and I would just test the strategy. So whatever strategy that you learn, you can actually go back and back test it. And this is a very useful tool to have when learning new strategies and practicing. But does anybody have any questions on anything that they just seen on back testing? All right, and if there's no questions, like I said, this is going to be a quick call. Next week, I'm going to have everything together for Africa. I'm actually going to have Rachel come on, and then I'm going to reach out to some of our friends who went to Africa with us just to get some feedback. But if you guys have any questions, any concerns about traveling, about Tanzania, I can't tell you about all of Africa, but I can tell you about Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, because I've been there. If you have any questions that you could think of, bring them to next week's call. But next week, we're going to be giving, a lot more detail on our experience with Africa, the food, the culture, the politics, the weather, animals, everything. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you bring those to the next Markup Mondays. But other than that, that wraps it up for this call. You guys can go ahead and check out the recording. Once this is over, it should be posted. But I will see you guys in the chats on the charts. To all my students, stay safe, but stay dangerous. Remember, it is NFP week. Use proper risk management. Love you guys. Glad to be back and to see everybody. Don said, can't wait to hear about East Africa. Yeah, man, definitely. If you have questions, make sure you write them down and bring them to that call. But everybody, enjoy the night. Usiku mwema. That means good night. And I will check y'all later. Peace.